I have a conversation I had earlier today, and I am chomping at the bit to share this with you. This is Loren Fogelman with Business Success Solution. Imagine no longer invoicing clients. That means that you no longer have to track hours unless you want to because you love the data, or maybe you track hours for your employees, but not for yourself any longer. You don't have to put together invoices, follow up with payments, and you get your current clients up to your new fees. So that's what I want to talk about today, is what happens for you when you put these things in place of really shifting away from that billable hour where you're getting paid after the fact to prepayment before you even do the work. And doing this is going to be something that might challenge your comfort zone. It takes courage in the beginning. You can see how this will make a difference, but you're not sure how to put it together. I get that. I was just having a conversation with one of my clients right before this that we went over these same exact things. And because you have these questions, you might hesitate doing this, especially with your current clients. It's so much easier to get the new clients onto a prepayment and at your new fees than it is with clients that have been working with you for a very, very, very long time. So I want to say, let's talk about some of these things because I know that it brings up a lot of questions. And some of the questions are because of you. It's a change for you. It feels uncomfortable. Maybe you don't feel like you have the capacity to do this. And how do you actually roll this out or have these conversations? And then with your current clients, as you know, they don't like change either. They've been working with you in a certain way for a long time. You've been giving away so much more than what your fees represent. And you don't know how to be able to have these conversations with them as opposed to saying, oh, my costs have increased, so I'm going to raise your fees too, because that happens to everybody. They don't want to hear that. So how do you have that client-centered conversation to make the switch with your accounting firm and with your current clients? So I want to just say the very first step to getting your current clients up to your new fees and also to switch them from invoicing over to prepayment for your services, it starts with you. That's because some of the questions that come up is, how do I explain this? What if they push back? They've been doing it this way for a long time. They're used to that. I want to just leave things good enough, but it means that I've been tolerating a lot for much, much too long. And that's why the very first step means that it is about you, your mindset. You have to buy into doing this before you can expect anybody else to get on board with the changes that you're making. I look at it more like a course correction because your value has risen over time and your fees ought to reflect the value of the service you're delivering to your clients. Once again, it is a course correction. And because people already have had experience working with you, it feels more difficult, but sometimes it's an easier yes than someone who's just considering whether working with you or moving on to some other option. The other thing is I'm actually talking about two things that I want you to consider doing at one time. I want you to consider, and let's do this all at one time, getting your current clients onto packages that are value priced instead of a fixed price. And I'll go into that more in one moment. The other thing I want you to do is switch them from invoicing and prepayment of your services all at the same time. This is like ripping the Band-Aid off as opposed to that slow thing where you have to have more than one conversation at a time. I'm doing this to take care of you, and it's actually better for them to make all these things at one time instead of over several different conversations or over a period of months or even years. So let's do it all at once. It's more efficient and effective, and it is a beautiful thing. It changes your cash flow, getting them up to your new rates, as well as getting prepaid instead of invoicing and then waiting for payment in arrears. So the other thing, as I mentioned, is there's a difference between fixed fee and value pricing. Fixed fee is usually a calculation of time, cost, and your hourly rate. This matters to you. Value pricing is really something that emphasizes the solution that your services offer to your client. And that is what is top of mind for your clients. They care more about the solution you give them than how much time it takes, the processes, the reports, or the software that you tend to use. So when you switch over to value pricing, you're really setting fees that are aligned with what cares most to your clients, as opposed to focusing time, cost, and maybe some profit margin, which is more important to you. And the other thing is that when you change clients from invoicing over to pricing, then something to think about is solutions are more important than time. So I want to reiterate that. Solutions are more important than time. This means that you are no longer punished for being efficient, adding in some software that speeds things up, or gaining expertise so that you're able to arrive at that solution faster than when you first started out. Solutions are more important than time. The second thing is by switching over to packages, which are based on those solutions that they care about, clients now see you as an expert. They don't see you as someone that's just doing the compliance, the after the fact reporting. They're really viewing you as that consultant that can give them insights into their business, about their financials, in order for them to make better decisions. They're no longer winging it. And then the third thing is that by switching over to packages and prepayment is you're now receiving that money before you do the work. That means that, once again, you no longer have to invoice. You don't have to chase money. You don't have to wait for it to happen. And let's just face it, if you have a team, your team is getting paid immediately for that work during each payroll. Why should you be floating that? So that's some of the benefits of changing over from invoicing to prepayment. And there are a ton more, but that's just top of my mind. And I wanted to say that this is a process. It's proven, it works. That's why more and more accounting professionals are moving in this direction. But I want to tell you what I did just this week with a current client that was doing exactly what I'm talking about, moving current clients over to pricing so that those clients were now at her new rates, and switching away from invoicing to prepayment. The very first thing was that she didn't have the confidence because of all those similar things I mentioned before regarding mindset, thoughts, worries, concerns, not wanting to upset the status quo. Because of that, we actually did a dry run of what the conversation would be, where she went through all the questions, she asked them. I went ahead and did a dress rehearsal of her playing her client. And then I gave her some feedback in order to have a more on-point conversation that benefited the client. So we did a dry run, which gave her some insights. We tweaked it a little bit. It gave her confidence to have this with her client. She went ahead and actually right after that private session we had together, she then had a meeting with her client and went through exactly what we talked about. She followed the step-by-step system. By doing that, it went better than expected. First of all, she wasn't quite as nervous because we already role-played it once. She got used to saying those words out loud. But the reason that it went so much better than expected is the client opted for her diamond package. She offered 3 options on how to be able to move forward: silver, gold, and diamond. And this client went for the largest package. This meant that this client was going to increase what he was paying her by 6 times. Yes, it was going to be a 6-time increase from the current fees that he's paying her each month. That is significant. Imagine that over the course of time. It's like compounding interest. She figured it out once, she got him up to his new fees, and from this point forward, this client has higher value in her firm. So this did challenge her comfort zone, but like I said before, this takes courage, not confidence. The confidence comes from actually having these conversations and getting the results. You gain the insights, you get more comfortable, and you start to see your bank account grow as a result of it. But getting that first one done gave her confidence to continue moving on with her other clients. It gets easier after the first one. Let's just go there. So do you want this kind of result? Then I'm going to say, check out my guide. I just created it. It's a brand new guide to transition from billing to pricing. If you are ready to get prepaid before you do the work instead of invoicing and chasing money, then go now to businesssuccesssolution.com/billing and grab the guide. It shows you exactly how to change clients from invoicing to prepayment so that it improves your cash flow. You're now getting prepaid for services, and you can finally get rid of the AR and the invoicing headaches. So let me know what you thought about this. Is this something that you're already doing? Did it reinforce something? Did it give you maybe one tip that you can implement right away to move forward? And once again, the guide is at businesssuccesssolution.com/billing, or you can drop something in the comments below and I will actually get that to you immediately. I would love to know what you took away from this and any feedback as to how you're going to apply it. Loren Fogelman, showing accounting professionals how to double their income, working half the time.